Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Baba Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Baba Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Nandana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Nandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Baba Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Nandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Actually, is that big enough? Can you see? Because I could take the section off where someone can make comments for the moment, so nobody's here, and it would make it bigger. But because that's good enough, we'll leave it like this. So, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Somebody's got to speak directly, close up to the microphone for it to work. That means like this. Okay. We're reading today from the Srimad-bhagavatam, 8th canto, chapter 4, text number, two texts together, 11 and 12. Shri Shuka Uvacha Evam Shabba Kato Gastyo Bhagavan Ripa Sanugaha Indrayumno Pirajarshir Dishtang Tad Upadarayan Shri Shuka Uvacha Evang Shatpa Kato Gastyo Bhagavan Ripa Sanugaha Indradyumno Pirajarshir Dishtang Tad Upaharayan Shri Shuka Uvacha Evang Shabba Kato Dastyo Bhagavan Ripa Sanugaha Indrayumno Pirajarshir Dishtang Tad Upadarayan Shri Shuka Uvacha Evang Sattva Kato Gastyo Bhagavan Ripa Sanugaha Indrajumno Pirajarshir Dishtang Tad Upadarayan Evang Shabba Kato Gastyo Bhagavan Ripa Sanugaha Indrajumno Pirajarshir Dishtang Tad Upadarayan. Okay, there actually have two verses, and I forgot it. I only can show one on the screen at a time. So let's go to the next one. Apana Kanjarim Yonim Atma Smriti Vinashinim Haryarchanubhave Haryachanubhavena Yad Gajatre Pranusmriti Apana Kunjarin Yonim Atma Smriti Vinashinim Haryarchananubhavena Yad Gajatve Pyanusmritihi Apana Kunjarim Yonim Atma Smriti Vinashinim Haryarchananubhavena Yad Gajatve Pyanusmritihi Apana Kunjarin Yonim Atma Smriti Vinashinim Haryarchananubhavena Yad Gajatve Pyanusmritihi Apana Kunjarin Yonim Atma Smriti Vinashinim Haryar Yad Gajatve Pyanusmritihi Apana Kunjarin Yonim Atma Smriti Vinashinim Yad Gajatve Pyanusmritihi. Hare Krishna. So, in that third line there, when there's a vowel, or there's a consonant and a vowel right after it, it's kind of like pronounced together. So instead of Hari, Harchanan, it's Haryarchana, Vavena. If you don't do like that, then the rhythm, the meter is thrown off. It adds one more syllable in there. So anyway, when Srila Prabhupada was doing it back then, he would. That's how they were doing it. Anyway, let's go on to the word for word. Give me a second. Okay. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, Evam, thus, Sattva, after cursing, Gataha, left that place, Agastyaha, Augusta Muni, Bhagavan, so powerful, Nripa, O king, Sa Anugaha, with his associates, Indrajumnaha, King Indrajumna, Api, also, Rajarshi, although he was a Rajarshi, Tishtam, because of past deeds, Tat, that curse. Upadarayan, considering. Give some more. More word for word. Apanaha, got. Konjarim, of an elephant. Yonim, the species. Atma smriti, remembrance of one's identity. Vinashinim, which destroys. Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Archana Anubhavena, because of worshiping. Yat, that. Gajate, in the body of an elephant. Api, although. Anusmriti, the opportunity to remember his past devotional service. And then the translation. Shukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, after Agastya Muni had thus cursed King Indrajumna, the Muni left that place along with his disciples. Since the king was a devotee, he accepted Agastya Muni's curse as welcome because it was the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, although in his next life he got the body of an elephant, because of devotional service, he remembered how to worship and offer prayers to the Lord. Repeat after me. Shukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, after Agastya Muni had thus cursed King Indrajumna, the Muni left that place along with his disciples. Since the king was a devotee, he accepted Agastya Muni's curse as welcome because it was the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, although in his next life he got the body of an elephant, because of devotional service, he remembered how to worship and offer prayers to the Lord. Okay, so your first time sitting in the class here? Yeah. Okay, so we're right at the close to the end. Well, we're in the middle of this chapter. Little review here. We're reading about the Srimad-bhagavatam is very nice. There's a lot of histories here, and we accept everything that's in here. We accept it as is. So it's not these are not just stories they're made up for some other purpose. These are actually historical facts. So there was sometime I don't even know when this was, but sometime in the past, there was a king who is making mention here, King Indrajumna, and he was cursed by actually a saintly person, but and because of the curse, he was forced to take his next birth. Of course, we accept reincarnation, so we take birth after birth. So he took his next birth by this curse in the body of an elephant, and the previous chapter was all about this giant, big elephant who was actually like the king of the elephants, and who fought with a crocodile for a long time they couldn't defeat the crocodile because they were in the water, and the crocodile is strong in the water, and the elephant is not. That's not his place, and being in the water. Finally, the elephant, in all his distress, and due to what we're reading here, due to his previous lifetime being an advanced devotee of Krishna, he was able to remember some prayers that he had learned in his previous life, and he started praying to the Lord to save him, offering these very nice prayers to the Lord and begging to be saved. And so so earlier in this chapter, Lord Krishna, actually, he came. Thank you. And he saved the elephant. He saved the elephant. He killed the crocodile, and now the elephant is getting a chance to. Not the elephant, but the soul that was in that elephant's body is now going back to the spiritual world by the grace of the Lord. So and we'll read the purport here, but this is a little summary. So this curse that the king had previously gotten was actually a benediction, indirectly, and is also something that was arranged by the Lord, so that now we can hear or read about this history and learn the lessons from it. The devotee who was involved, the king, he didn't need this to be cursed for himself, really. He would have ultimately gone back to the spiritual world because he was actually an advanced devotee. But we who are trying to become Krishna conscious, we learn from these lessons we learn lessons from these histories. Yes. So yes. So we are learning from the activities of these great devotees who are under certain circumstances, who are in different difficult situations, and now they're being saved, and we learn lessons from their lives, so that we can become Krishna conscious like that. So that's. Hmm? You have to everybody's lifestyle. Whose lifestyle? Oh yeah, the 10th canto. 10th canto of Srimad-bhagavatam is all about Krishna personally. Yes. We're up to canto 8 right now, so we'll gradually get there. Yes. Okay, so now we in the Srimad-bhagavatam, the way these books were written by our spiritual master, they originally written in Sanskrit, the original Sanskrit text, which I don't think anyone here reads Sanskrit. And then we have the transliteration so that we can chant it without knowing what the meaning. And there's word-for-word synonyms that we just recited. Each word is broken down, so like very authorized like that. Then the translation. And then most verses have a purport, an explanation of what the verse is about. So now we're going to read that purport. Purport means it's a commentary. It means the actual meaning. Purport actually means the actual meaning of it. Okay? So here's the purport. Purport. This is the unique position of a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although the king was cursed, he welcomed the curse because a devotee is always aware that nothing can happen without the desire of the Supreme Lord. Although the king was not at fault, Augusta Muni cursed him, and when this happened, the king considered it to be due to his past misdeeds. Tatenu kampam su samikshamana. That's a part of a verse from the 10th canto, actually. Srimad-bhagavatam, 14th chapter, 8th verse. This is a practical example of how a devotee thinks. He regards any reverses in life as blessings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, instead of being agitated by such reverses, he continues his activities in devotional service, and Krishna takes care of him and enables him to be promoted to the spiritual world back to Godhead.
Like it's like the simple thing is like you have to believe.
Hmm?
Like I think like to use the word like to work in my life, like I have to believe in the word.
Yeah, sort of like that, yeah. If a devotee has to suffer the reactions of his past misdeeds, the Supreme Lord arranges for him to be given only a token of these reactions. And very soon he is freed from all the reactions of material contamination. One should therefore adhere to devotional service, and the Lord himself will very, very soon see to one's promotion to the spiritual world. A devotee should not be disturbed by unfortunate circumstances, but must continue his regular program, depending on the Lord for everything. The word upadarayan, considering, is very significant in this verse. The word indicates that a devotee knows what is what. He understands what is happening in material. He understands what is happening in material conditioned life. So, so these, like I said, these verses and purports in Srimad-bhagavatam and the other in Bhagavad Gita and all the other books that we have, these verses are to give us knowledge so that we can advance on the spiritual path. So when we're practicing spiritual life, actually just living in the material world, there's always problems. It's the nature of the place. The material world is meant to be problematic. If it was not problematic, we would never want to go back to Krishna in the spiritual world, right? So in practicing spiritual life, then there will be problems that will come, and sometimes when the problems come, we may think, oh, I'm having some problem now. Maybe I had it so much nicer before I started Krishna consciousness. So now maybe I should just go back to what I was doing. People here are not so nice. People out there were so nice. The mind will say so many things like that sometimes. But the lesson here is that when we're practicing Krishna consciousness, even if we have difficulties, and there will be difficulties because it's just part of the material world, even if there are difficulties, we should continue on in our spiritual life. We should not give up. We should not give up the practice. We should not, if we're chanting Hare Krishna, we should not give up chanting. If we're associating with devotees, others who are practicing Krishna consciousness, we should not give up that association. We cannot become Krishna conscious on our own. We have to be with others. We have to associate with others. Not necessarily everyone lives in the ashram, exactly, but we have to be regularly associating with others who are also practicing Krishna consciousness. And the reason is that association, we're all affected by association. Everyone. There's no way that you're going to associate with someone for very long at all without being affected in some way by that association. But both sides. Whoever you associate with, we tend to become like them. And then, of course, they also tend to become like us. So if we're associating only with materialistic people who are not following any kind of religious principles and those kind of things, which is most of the world. If that's all of our association is there, and we're trying to on our own be very Krishna conscious and avoid sinful activities and these things, then that bad association will certainly influence us. There's no way that we can avoid being influenced by that. So therefore, we need to be always in the association of devotees, others who are practicing Krishna consciousness. And there are different levels of devotees. There are, first-class devotees, second-class devotees, third-class devotees. So in the beginning, of course, we all start off third class, which means we're basically materialistic, but we're trying to come up to the spiritual platform. It's a third class. It's just trying to get a foothold, to get started. But we're trying to do so. Therefore, we're counted as devotee because we're trying to get on the path. The characteristic of third class devotee is one has maybe a little faith in the process, but not very strong faith, weak faith. If theoretically, we hardly understand anything. We're just trying to get started. So that's third class devotee. And we don't want to stay on third class platform because third class platform is very shaky. We cannot stay there easily for a long time. So we have to advance. So we advance in spiritual life by following the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, which means, of course, well, there are many regulative principles. There are the do's and the do nots. Do's and do nots. Because anything you do, there are some things that are some rules that what you do. There's some rules of what you do not do. So we chant Hare Krishna. We're chanting Hare Krishna mantra. We do, if you have the opportunity, and if you're in the temple, you get this, regularly hear the philosophy. Usually it's Srimad-bhagavatam in the morning, and we're supposed to have Bhagavad Gita classes at night, but just no one can, as it can be here regularly to give the classes. But we're doing them in the morning, and we're streaming them too. That's right, all the equipment here. Okay, so we're streaming. So we have the morning class. We have the deities. We come here at different times of the day. The curtains open. A few minutes they'll open again, and like now. But the class is not over. No. This arti goes on, but the class goes on. Yeah, we don't stop.
Can I watch?
You can watch. The bird came in. Anyway, yeah. So just as we worship the deities, you see the beautiful form of the deities, nicely dressed, and we put on festivals for the pleasure of the deities. We cook for the deities. We clean the temple for the deities, and many different services for Krishna in his deity form. That's part of the process of becoming Krishna conscious. And then there are many things. There are many kinds of services that we can do. There are many kinds of services that we can do. And then there are some things that we avoid doing. We avoid doing. We avoid. There's 4 activities that we avoid primarily. We avoid eating meat, fish, and eggs. That's number 1. We avoid taking any kind of intoxication. We avoid any kind of gambling, including lottery and those kind of things. And we avoid what? What's the other one? Illicit sex. No illicit sex. No eating meat, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling. So these four kinds of activities are not favorable for one to advance in spiritual life. So if we are, maybe we should turn the fans off. Maybe the fan. I'm afraid that bird's going to hit the fan and give it a chance to get out. Yeah. So we should. Yeah. So we avoid those four kinds of activities, and there's reason for avoiding those four kinds of activities. Um, uh, by not eating meat, and eat meat, fish, eggs is all counted as meat. It helps us to develop the quality of mercy. You can't advance in spiritual life if there's no sense of mercy. It's not possible. And by not having illicit sex, it means we develop the quality of what? Anyone remember? Cleanliness. We practice cleanliness by not having illicit sex. And then by not gambling, we develop the quality of truthfulness. And by not taking any kind of intoxication, we develop the quality of austerity. So we cannot become Krishna conscious as long as we're lacking in mercy, cleanliness, truthfulness, and austerity. These four activities, these four qualities are necessary to really advance on the spiritual path. So that's why we follow these four regulative principles. And of course, we follow because Srila Prabhupada said this is how it's done. But this is not just now, here and now. This was anyone practicing spiritual life, anyone practicing yoga. I mean, actually, really, yoga, not necessarily what's taught today as yoga, but as the real yoga, the full yoga system that developed where you can realize God from it. If someone's practicing that, these same principles you have to follow. You cannot practice yoga or succeed in yoga at least if without following those four principles. So therefore we follow these, and then we are chanting Hare Krishna. So the Krishna's name is according to our philosophy that we follow. It's the real philosophy. I mean, it's actually a fact. It's not just a made-up philosophy. It's a practical philosophy. Krishna's name is not different from Krishna. Actually, Krishna's name is not different from him. So Krishna is God, and he's so powerful, and he's purifying if we have contact with Krishna in some way. Just like this devotee here we're reading about when he had his birth as an elephant. We just passed that part in the chapter because he was there as an elephant, but because the Lord personally came and touched him, he immediately got purified and went back to the spiritual world because God personally touched him. So that contact. So we also can have contact with Krishna by chanting Krishna's names. Krishna and his name are not different. And that's why the chanting is very nice. We chant Hare Krishna is pleasing. And by chanting regularly, by regular chanting, then gradually we become more and more purified, more and more Krishna conscious. more. Krishna consciousness means we become more attached to serving God and less attached to material things. That's actually the proof that we're becoming spiritually advanced. We become more attached to devotional service and lose our attachment for material things. Okay, so by that chanting, we become like that. And the four regulative principles for us to chant very nicely and properly and get the full benefit of that chanting, then we have to. There's 10 offenses. We recite every morning here. We recite them early in the morning. So one of those offenses, number 3, is an offense to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. The spiritual master may give many instructions, but one instruction which we all definitely have to agree with and follow is the instruction of following those regulative principles, those 4 principles, no eating meat and so on. So if we are chanting Hare Krishna, we can chant so much, but if we're still eating meat, having illicit sex, getting intoxicated, or gambling, any of those, or all of those, then our chanting will not be very effective. Krishna is still in his name, but he will not reciprocate with us nicely if we're not at least following those principles. So therefore, at the time of initiation, when the formal beginning, it's one of the beginning stages actually of Krishna consciousness. At the time of that initiation, then we are promising spiritual master that for the rest of my life, I will chant on my beads, my japa beads. I have my beads here. My japa beads. I will chant at least 16 rounds a day of the Hare Krishna mantra, and I will avoid engaging in those 4 sinful activities. Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, said that all the sinful activities in the world are summarized in those four. If we can follow those 4, then everything else is included, and we can get purified. So it's not like we have to have 10,000 million rules and regulations and laws and so on that we have to follow, and fearful at every moment that we're committing some sinful activity. If we can avoid eating meat, having illicit sex, getting intoxicated, and gambling, those 4, then that covers it. And so we're doing that, and we're chanting Hare Krishna regularly, and we stay in the association of devotees, and then we go on with our spiritual life. And then when things get difficult, we don't think, oh, things are difficult because that one over there and that one over there, they said something nasty to me. Why are they, just tolerate these things? Because what was actually is happening on the path of spiritual life, what's actually happening is that Krishna is personally taking care of us. We're practicing, we're chanting our rounds, we're following the principles. We may go through some difficulties in life, either inside or outside of the association of devotees, where we may be experiencing that. But what we should understand, and that's what's being described in this purport here, what we should understand is that Krishna is personally giving me these tests, we might call them, to help me to become free from the sinful act, from the, how do you say it? It helped me to become free from the mentality that caused me to get entangled in the material karma and all that in the first place. That's actually what's happening. Because even at the time of the first initiation, when the spiritual master accepts disciple, Srila Prabhupada told us like this, at the time of the first initiation, we're actually committing to chanting our rounds and following the principles and dedicating our life to Krishna service. At that time, the spiritual master actually takes or relieves us of all of our karma from past lives, this life and previous lives. So it's a big thing. If we were to have to try to live out all of our karma from that we've accumulated for many, many, many lifetimes, we would never be able to do it on our own. We wouldn't be able to do it. For example, someone is eating meat, and different animals are different. If someone ate meat from cow, for example, then you have to suffer. It was like 1 year, or 1 year or one lifetime. I don't recall. Suffering like that for every hair on the body of that animal that died because you're eating the meat. So it's very. So how many millions and millions of lifetimes do we have karma worked up? So we couldn't live it out. And by the time we lived all that out and suffered in so many ways, we would have probably produced so much more because if we're not practicing Krishna consciousness. But what the time it happens at the time of initiation is Krishna says, Krishna says, I know the verse, but I'll read it from here. In English. 1866. Is a very important verse. Hare Krishna. Sarva dharmang parityaja mamekang sharanam vraja. Ahang tvang sarva papevyo mokshayishami masujaha. Krishna says, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So, if we surrender to Krishna, then there's no more sinful reactions. Right? But how do we surrender to Krishna? We can't even see Krishna. We can't even talk to Krishna. Krishna, what do you want me to do? Okay, I'll surrender to you. Tell me what to do. He's not going to tell us directly. You have to go through spiritual master. Right? So, spiritual master is handing this knowledge down, and at time of initiation, we are agreeing to surrender to spiritual master in different ways, especially by agreeing, promising, sincerely promising, to chant our japa. Japa means on the beads. 16 rounds minimum. At least in ISKCON, we say 16. Somewhere else they may say something different. 16 rounds and following and avoiding those 4 sinful activities. We're at least promising that. And there's a little bit more too, but those are the real strong promises that we have to make. So we're agreeing to the spiritual master. I'm giving up sinful life. I'm going to regularly chant Hare Krishna, right? And the spiritual master is on our behalf, or on Krishna's behalf. He's connecting us to Krishna through what we call the disciplic succession. Means from Krishna, he spoke Veda, Bhagavad Gita, this knowledge to disciple, the guru to disciple, like that. It's handed it down for many thousands of years, actually millions of years. It's handed down this knowledge, and at the time of initiation, that same line of guru disciple parampara, it's called in Sanskrit. When we surrender to spiritual master, the spiritual master who's present, physically present, who's accepting us, he's passing our promise up to Krishna. Okay, then my disciple so-and-so has just promised to dedicate their life to your service. They're going to chant 16 rounds or more of the Hare Krishna mantra every day. No more sinful life like that. And they're going to do that. And I will and he's promising Krishna, I will guide them to become Krishna conscious. So that's the agreement, Krishna with the spiritual master with Krishna. So the time of initiation, he's doing that, and because of that, your past karma, your sinful activities, are all being passed up ultimately to Krishna. Krishna's not affected by sinful reactions. He's in control of the material nature, so it doesn't affect him, but he's accepting it. He's clearing it because Sarva abandoned all varieties of religion. Surrender to me, and he's engaged in devotional service, surrender to me, and I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. So Krishna is delivering us because of the mercy of the spiritual master. But of course, we have to keep following the spiritual master. If we give up the path, then reactions start coming back real quick. So initiation is an important process, important part of the process, like that. It's not the end of the process. It's a very good thing to do in the beginning. It's a beginning of spiritual life, like that. So that's and then while we're practicing Krishna consciousness, when things sometimes get difficult, then then we understand that Krishna there's not, because we've passed all the, at the time after initiation at least, we've passed everything up to Krishna. Okay, so why do we suffer? Yes, that we're saying, oh, okay, I just got initiated, and it means I have no karma anymore, finished. So why am I suffering? Why did I get a headache today? Why did somebody yell at me today? Like that. Why are so many things happening to me? And if I have no karma, because it's not karma, it's Krishna personally, lovingly giving you some help. Either makes it difficult, or maybe sometimes he makes something very nice for you, but he's giving it to you personally, not by karma, but by personally giving something to you to help you to change some mentality. Because he can take the karma easily, but we have to change the mentality that caused us to get all that karma. See, so all the things that go on in spiritual life, even the difficulties, especially the difficulties, help us to become free from the mentality that we had from maybe millions of lifetimes back that caused us to get all entangled in the first place. But because we're chanting Hare Krishna, we're following the principles, we're hearing or studying Srimad-bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and so on, then because of all that, then within this lifetime, if we are serious, if we stay with the process, serious means that we stay with the process, then we can finish up our whole business in Krishna consciousness, or finish our business in Krishna consciousness, and finish up our business in the material world by becoming Krishna conscious, fully Krishna conscious, and at the end of life, then we can go back home, back to Godhead. And that's with that verse that was partly quoted here. Tate nukampam sushamikshimana. This is it's part of a verse in the 10th canto, Srimad-bhagavatam. That excuse me. You need it in the refrigerator?
No, I put it outside there. Is that
okay, if you want to put it, I can have the key.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sorry. So, so we're practicing Krishna consciousness, and when these difficulties come, Krishna he is helping us in that way. And if we understand that and we stay with the process until throughout our life to the end of our lives, then we will become fully Krishna conscious, and we will go back home, back to the spiritual world. So, maybe I should open up for any questions. Anyone have any questions? If you have questions, let's speak directly into this microphone here, because we're streaming this, nobody will hear. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, just a quick question. I actually know a couple of people who used to be in Krishna consciousness, but from that they.
Speak loud.
So, what to do if a person abandons Krishna consciousness? How can he rejoin? How can he maybe get reinitiated? Is it possible?
You don't have to get reinitiated. You just can come back and continue the process. I mean, unless maybe, well, you don't have to get reinitiated. Sometimes it has happened that one spiritual master has actually given up the process. It does happen sometimes. If that happens, even then you don't have to get reinitiated because you made the connection with the cyclic succession. But even if you want to, and under that kind of circumstance, you can get reinitiated. But you don't have to get reinitiated because you stopped the process. You just have to start it again.
As simple as it can be.
That's it's easy. The process is easy. We just Krishna is he's trying to help us. He gives us everything. It's like you say you give something to someone on a silver platter. To say you make this very nice, easy condition. I'm giving here's a gift, and here it is on a silver platter. It's just the best way. So yes, if someone takes up the path of Krishna consciousness and somehow gives it up, and it is a struggle. It's not always. I mean, many who take it up don't stay with it, but if because you don't get like Srila Prabhupada said, like Srila Prabhupada, he was asked once, and I was actually there at this interview. It was a TV interview, at the University of Florida, back in 1971. So he was asked different questions by the interviewer. He says, if Krishna consciousness is so nice, why are there not more people joining the Krishna consciousness movement? Because we were it's 1971, we're really new. And there were other groups out there that were nonsense groups, but they had millions of people following. Yeah, like that. So he was asking like that, why, if this is so good, why are not more people joining? His answer said, if you have diamonds to sell, not everyone is qualified to buy. You have diamonds. So Krishna consciousness is very, very, very valuable. And although it's available for anyone, but not everyone is qualified or ready, or maybe at this point in their life they're just not ready. Maybe not at this point in this life they're not ready. But it's there. So yes, not everyone will take up the path. But if you do take up the path and you do want to, and you go away for some time, it's not a problem. Okay. You take up the path and you give it up. It's not really a big problem because you can always take it up again. But you have to have that desire. So if you get into bad association and get involved in all kinds of nonsense things in the course of your material life, you maybe become more and more and more entangled. It'll become more difficult. But if someone has had enough, okay, and they say, "Hey, I want to try again," no problem. You just start chanting Hare Krishna, come to the temple, get some prasadam, associate with devotees, start getting the taste back, and then just go forward. The process itself is devotional service. It's not unless you have to do so many things to. It's like just like engage in material sinful activities. There are methods in the Vedas called it's called prayaschita. You can do to become free from certain karma like that. So you could do that, but the advantage of Krishna consciousness is you by practicing Krishna consciousness, all those reactions that will go away automatically. Uh, all the sinful reactions we maybe see something accumulated again after giving up the path. It'll go away automatically by practicing Krishna consciousness, and by practicing Krishna consciousness, another thing which goes away is ignorance. Because ignorance means that if we're doing something wrong because we don't know better, then we get rid of that ignorance, and by ignorance, because we're reading, we're getting so much knowledge here. We're also becoming purified from within the heart because we're chanting Hare Krishna and we're engaged in devotional service, and we're associating with others who are determined on the path. So you associate. If you want to, we're talking about association. If you want to practice Krishna consciousness, even if you had practiced before, or you had not practiced before in this lifetime, but you want to take it up, you have to associate with those who are determined on that path. If you associate with someone, or if you only associate with someone who is thinking, well, maybe yes, maybe no, I think about it, maybe next year I'll take up the path, but I'm not so sure. That kind of association is not going to help you on the path. You may have that association, but you want to associate with those who are practicing or serious and who decided, hey, this is the goal of life, and I'm taking it, and I'm not giving it up. Srila Prabhupada said we've given millions and millions of lifetimes for Maya. Maya means the illusory energy, the material, for sense gratification. We've given millions and millions of lifetimes for serving Maya, and still we're not happy. Right? We're not happy. If we were happy, we wouldn't be sitting here now. We were not happy, but so he says, just dedicate one life completely in Krishna's service, just one lifetime. You gave millions of lifetimes to Maya, give one lifetime, 100% for Krishna. Then if you want to go back to Maya, but if you that's the trick, because if you give one lifetime completely in Krishna's service, you'll never go back to Maya. You won't want to. You'll be so you become Krishna conscious, so you won't want to. But Srila Prabhupada was tricked like that. Just give one lifetime. Come on, you gave millions here. And of course, we don't really remember what we did in past lifetimes, so we're taking his word. But of course, Srila Prabhupada is Krishna conscious. He is very, because he was practicing in his lifetime, and he could very easily convince anyone to take up the path, and that's why the movement was spread, because he was so enthusiastic and eager to give Krishna consciousness to others. Any other questions? Question? Okay, so we will end here for today. Srila Prabhupada ki